Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. How are you all doing, grade one? That's really great. Yes, I'm also good. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. And welcome to your numeracy class. In today's class, we will be revising a very interesting topic, that is the difference between the analog and digital time, right? And similarly, the difference between the analog and digital clocks as well, right? So let's quickly revise that what we have learned about this topic. So who is going to tell me what is analog time? Or what is analog clock? The normal clocks, the wall clocks that we have in our house, they are mostly analog clocks, right? Some of you might have the digital one as well, but most of the times they are analog. And the analog clocks are those clocks in which we have this is an analog clock in which the digits are written like this. And in order to show time, we have three hands in it. There is this 1 minute hand, the other one is our hand, and the third one is second hand. This is known as an analog clock, right? The next comes the digital clock. The digital clock is the one in which the time is mentioned in the form of digits, and the time is also written in the digits, even which are in this time, they have the special style, right? And these are known as digital clocks or digital time. So I'm going to share the screen with you. Let's quickly revise what we have learned about it together, and then we will move forward. First, let's look at what is a clock, okay?
Hi, I'm a clock. This is my face, and I will teach you how to understand me. You see numbers 1 to 12 on my face? Well, these are my hands. The bigger hand is for minutes, and the smaller hand is for an hour. This is my minute hand. You see the small lines? They move every minute. And this is my hour hand, and it moves very slowly to reach to the bigger line every hour.
Okay, so that was a general introduction to what is a clock, right? Now let's have a look at the analog clock together. Okay, I'm sharing the screen again. Now let's have a look at this one. Is it visible? Okay, great.
Hello, children. Have you seen the clock on the wall? In your room and in the house, everywhere. It tells us the time. It shows us three things: hour, minute, and the seconds. The slimmest needle is for the seconds. It rotates around the clock 60 times to make up 1 minute. And the longest fat needle is the minute. It rotates another 60 times to make up an hour. And the small fat one is the hourly clock. We have to be efficient, and that's why we always see a small clock put down on a table in the office and in the school. It's really good to read the clock.
Okay, now see, all of us have, there is an important value attached to the time and to the clock as well. Students must have a they must have a watch with you. Why? Because so that they can have a check on time, so that they can have a check on their routine, that how much time they have to spend on which task, so that they can follow a proper timetable, right? Well, this is not specifically the importance of time is not specifically attached to the students, but everybody has, and everybody's lifetime has a great value. So they have talked about the analog clock. In analog clock, we have, or usually if you talk about the shape of it, they are in circular shape, right? And they have these three hands: the minute hand, hour hand, and the second hand, right? And the minute hand tells us about how much minutes have been passed. The hour hand tells us about how much hours have been passed, and the second hand keeps on rotating. And when it completes one whole rotation, this means that 1 minute have been passed. In comparison to that, if we talk about the digital clock does not have any hour hands. It simply tells you the time in the digits. It's 12:13. It's 5:07. It's 6:15, right? So it tells you the time in the proper digits. There is no need to and similarly, another important difference between these two clocks is the AM and PM time, right? Because in this analog clock we have only 12 digits, right? And but we have 24 hours in a day. So this means that when this hour hand will complete this whole rotation twice, this means that one complete day has been passed, right? So in order to differentiate between the time, we have AM and PM. So AM represents time starting from midnight till midday, and from midday till midnight we use the PM, right? Okay. Now there are some practice questions that we will be doing together related to this. So first you are supposed to, like I have drawn these clocks, you are supposed to draw a clock. Both, you're supposed to show this time on a clock. It should be an analog one and digital one, both types of clock. And the time that you are supposed to show is, okay, because in the analog clock, you will be showing the time 2:15 p.m. and in the digital one, you will just write it down 2:15 p.m. You are supposed to draw an analog clock and show the time 2:15 p.m. in it. Hurry up. Let me know when you are done. Well, if you are done, you have drawn both types. Okay, show it to me. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Now you're supposed to answer a few questions. Let's quickly revise them. What is an hour hand? Which tells us about how much hours have been passed. Very good. What is minute hand? Which tells us about the minutes that have been passed. What is second hand? It keeps on rotating, and when it completes one whole rotation, this means that 1 minute has been passed. And second hand tells us about how much seconds. Yes, okay. So if we talk about in the clock, the two hands that have more value or much importance, they are minute hand and hour hand. Second hand usually confuse the children as well. They're not able to tell the proper time due to this. So just avoid the second hand. The two important are the hour hand and minute hand because they tell you the exact time, right? Okay. Now, if I ask you how many total hands do we have in analog clock? So your answer would be 3. Very good. 1 week has how many days? 7. Excellent. A day has how many hours? 24. 12 from midnight till midday, and then from midday till midnight. So a total of 24. Okay. How many seconds do we have in 1 minute? 60. How many minutes do we have in 1 hour? Again, 60. Very good. Okay. Now you're supposed to draw a few more clocks on your notebooks and representing these times. So let me tell you what are the times that you are supposed to draw. Now please draw a clock that shows the time 4 o'clock. Draw another that shows the time 9:15. And then draw a third one that shows the time 5:45. Hurry up. Draw 3 analog clocks. In the digital, you are just supposed to write it down, so there is no need to do that. Just draw the analog clocks and show this time on it. Hurry up. Everybody is working? Is there any confusion? Okay, you can ask me about that, right? And do not draw the second hand because it will again confuse you. So just draw two hands. One should be minute and the other should be hour hand. Yes, good. Hurry up. Okay, all of you are done. Show it to me one by one. Very good. Excellent. Okay, so that was all for today. What we have done, we have revised about the time, and in that we have discussed what is the difference between the analog and the digital clock, what is the difference between analog time and digital time, and how do these clocks are different from each other, what is the difference in their style, what are the two terms AM and PM, right? So you're supposed to revise all of this at your home and let me know if you have still any confusion. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Take care. Allah Hafiz.